So you have a shop. It pays your rent. You expect profits. But then your children eat your stock. How do you restock? How do you break even? How do you make profits? Can you really mix relative and business? Welcome to Life Extra. My name is Latifa Okola, and with me to discuss this topic is
Esiahe Ebuta, and welcome to Life Extra.
So Esi, can business really be mixed with relatives?
Before I answer that question, one very common advice people give is don't mix business with relatives or with pleasure. That is one advice people would always give you. And so it is something, because of that advice, entering into business with your relatives is something people try as much as possible to avoid. Yes.
Some weeks back we had the print edition actually published something like this, and there were lots of interesting opinions actually. Mostly, like you said, people discourage business owners, business starters from mixing relatives and their business together because of obvious reasons. And there are actually insinuations that businesses can never be done with relatives, as it always backfires.
Yeah.
This week we would like to would love to get comments from our Facebook viewers to know what their take is. So while we are on it, we would appreciate your comments on dailytrust.com.ng, on our Facebook handle, that's dailytrust.com, and on our Twitter handle it's daily_trust. While we're at it, there are businesses, there are obvious businesses in Nigeria that, like the Dangote family, the Dantata family, even Otedola. Like sometimes we see where they groom their children
to take over from them.
And it has been blossoming, it has been growing. What's your take on it?
Well, like you said, they've been grooming their children, so obviously it's that grooming now that makes the business to blossom. It can apply in some cases. In other cases, it may not even be applicable. Like for me, I remember last week, I was discussing this thing with my husband, and I asked him the same question, that is it true that businesses and relatives don't mix? And he was like, well, to him it was like, it depends on the nature of the business. So for me, if I'm into a business like household products, when it comes to selling my market, I won't even look at you. Even if you're my brother or sister, you have to pay me for it. So I won't even consider whether you're my relative. If you want something from me, you will have to pay for it. That's my own take, Sha.
Well, we'll come to that, but we got a comment from Sheyi Ajayi. Sheyi says you can mix, but you will pay for it dearly. Sheyi would like to know how it will be paid dearly. How do you think it will be paid dearly? Also, James Ijale says that they are two different things. So yes, it is true. Well, he is agreeing to that fact. Sekpe Benjamin says, no, it is true. Mix gari and sand and feel how sweet it will be. So I guess he is of the opinion that it won't
mix.
Work. Yeah.
It won't. But then the first person, in a way, I agree with the first person when he said it won't, that you pay dearly. I kind of agree with him, because there are a lot of things you have to take into consideration when doing business with your relatives. You have to take a lot of things into consideration. One, your emotions too. You have to take that into consideration. What happens when there is a problem, maybe a little disagreement? What happens? So you see, that's a problem there, mixing your
Yeah.
business with relatives. So I guess that is what the first person who gave his comments, I guess
Yeah.
that's what he's trying to say.
No, it's easier for you to request back your money when you loan someone your money from a stranger than a family member.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's true. That's true.
So also we got a comment from Cynthia Kalu. Cynthia is a 32-year-old lawyer who says that Lucy, let me quotes, Lucy is the genesis of her problem. Okay, sorry, let me come again. Lucy is the genesis of her problem, as she agrees that business cannot be done with family or in-laws. The day she decided to rent out the property to her in-laws was the day she started trouble for herself. She's somewhat a family member, and there are things you just don't do with a family member. This is one of them, she stated. You just can't wake up after 2 years and tell your tenants that you want to use your property you rented out to them. She has gotten used to the property and has attracted customers over the last 2 years, so it will be hard for her to relocate because for sure she will lose a lot of customers, if not all. So yeah, there are certain things according to her that you don't. Yeah,
I think that comment is based on a story. I remember when that edition was done, it was based on a story, and the person giving the comment now is giving her comment based on what transpired between Lucy and her in-law. But in this case now, if I were to be Lucy, what I'll do is would have a form of agreement, written agreement, that maybe after a year or 2 years, if I need my property, you have to give it back to me. And then, like Cynthia said, her client base must have grown within those 2 years, so it will be difficult for her to relocate. Well, what's there is maybe when she's relocating, she will just have to do a change of location. That's what most people will do when they are changing business base. That's what they do. So I don't see why that should cause any problem now between she and her sister-in-law. I mean, it's not something that should cause a problem.
Well, while others think they are helping out, I have a business. My cousin, for example, I have a business. My cousin is jobless, and I find him a position at my place of work. And for some reason, the cousin decides, oh, since this is a family business, I just need to fold my arms and just do my thing and not bother working hard. Or how do you handle such a situation?
That's a wrong perception. Very, very wrong perception. You say, okay, because it's your cousin that hired you, you now feel that you can be nonchalant.
Yeah.
No, now, if it's your own business, how if you were the one at that position, the owner of the business,
That's right.
and someone else does the same, displays that kind of nonchalant attitude, you won't find it funny. So that's a very wrong perception, outlook to the business. I, for one, I wouldn't tolerate it. I wouldn't.
On the print edition, we also got a few other comments, like Talatu Ibrahim, who is a 37-year-old doctor, says that involving family and members or even in-laws in business should never be encouraged. Involving family members in any serious business is a no, especially in-laws. You can't win their love by being good and hurting yourself, because when it's time for you to please yourself, people will get hurt and read meanings to it. This is exactly what is happening to the lady in question. The lady in question we're talking about, on
Lucy.
She said, did she think by renting out the place to her in-law for 2 years will win her over? Now she is in for real trouble. Her in-law took advantage to renovate the place because she was guaranteed a place forever, since she never thought you would ever ask her to leave the place. And actually, it's true. Some think you lend them something and it becomes theirs.
Automatically, it becomes their own. Like I said, what Lucy should have done was enter into a written agreement with her in-law, so that she would know that, okay, see, madam, I am giving you this property for a year, 2 years, or 6 months, so that when the time period elapses and she goes back to say, madam, shebi, I told you I am giving you this place for only 6 months, please, I want to use my property, then in fact the in-law will have nothing to hold against her. But as it is, there was no form of legal agreement. So I mean, in this case now, the in-law is right, she can claim ownership.
So in a situation where a husband and a wife are going into business, is that encouraged?
It depends on the kind of business. So
Okay.
it depends on the kind of business.
Can you elaborate?
Okay. If it's something like a provision store, it's okay, they can enter into that kind of business together. I know of a couple in Jos. When I was still in Jos, I know of a couple, they had a provision store. From that same provision store, they trained their children right to university level. They bought their car, they built their own house. So, and the business was doing well. So there's nothing wrong if a couple should have a joint business, provided they understand each other. Which brings us to the word trust. Trust is a very key, in fact, it plays a key role now in this case, where a couple is trying to run a joint business together. So first of all, there need to be trust. There should be trust, and then mutual understanding that, okay, this business, your money is in it, my money is in it. We are not going to we will not cheat each other. So this is what we'll use the profits for, and then reinvest, so there has to be trust first before, and believe me, it will go well.
Like before the program started, I was having a conversation with one of my colleagues, and we brought up the issue of Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. They both started the foundation, and it's growing. They're grooming their daughter to be
take
part
over
of the foundation. And he raised an argument that is at the corporate level. Like you were just saying, a couple with a provision store, a small SME.
Yeah.
What if one of them, one would think they're putting in as much effort as they should, while the other would think, oh, this person is lackadaisical. It's what if there are these differences and there's friction? How would they settle such situations? Handle it rather.
Now, this brings us to the pros and the cons of running a joint business. Now, one person would feel cheated, and the other one will feel, okay, since this person is there, let me just relax, sit back. They'll have this nonchalant attitude. For me, if I were in that situation, I would call my partner and say, CEO, this business, I thought we had an agreement to run it together. Why is this like this? Why is this like this? Please help me. Let's try and take this business to the next level. Let's move it up. Then if the person kinds of still continues with that nonchalant attitude, I'll just look for a way to maybe pull out, or I'll just look for a way to work around it so that the business will continue.
But pulling out is not an option.
It's not no, at all. It's not an option.
It's not an option.
Because already we are in it together.
Yes.
If I suffer loss, you suffer loss. If I gain,
right.
you gain. So I mean, there's no two ways about it. But we'll make sure. I will make sure you put in more effort so that the business will grow.
this is we're looking at the immediate family now. So yes, it has to work.
It has to work.
Yes,
definitely.
but then involving in-laws, involving cousins, involving relatives, it's a different ball game entirely, because
I wouldn't say that.
okay,
The reason why I said so is involving in-laws has to do with the kind of in-laws you have. It has to do with type. If you have in-laws that are cooperative, that are, they are this kind of hustlers, people that really want to, hard workers. If they are hard workers, people that struggle,
want to see your progress.
good,
Yeah.
it work. But if they are in-laws that are just people that want to come and benefit, no,
Yeah.
no. So it depends on the kind of in-laws you have. Like for me, if I have a business, of course, I would want to involve my in-laws and my siblings, because I know that, okay, these people would help me.
They want the best for you.
Yes, they want the best for me. They want my business to grow. So
And besides, if your business grows, they benefit.
they'll all
also.
benefit.
Yeah, sure.
They'll definitely benefit.
Yeah, here Yakubu says that, I think you talked about trust with the family member and how it will
help.
Yes.
It's a key factor.
Sure, and he says not only trust but understanding too. Yeah,
See, I talked about it too.
Yeah,
So
yes.
trust, and those are the key factors that will help if you are running a business with your relatives.
But there can't be trust where there's no understanding, right?
Of course, one cannot do without the other now.
That's
So they
right.
have to go together. They have to be in harmony together.
So, what are the cons of mixing business? Like, can we maybe list them for
One
our
of
audience?
such is feelings. Your feelings get in the way, because you say, okay, my brother is involved, my sister-in-law is involved, my husband is involved, and then maybe along the way, maybe rather than seeing the profits, maybe the person you brought in is siphoning the money elsewhere, using it for his own personal upkeep.
Yeah.
If it's were an outsider, there's this tendency that you would want to get the person
Yes,
arrested.
sure.
You threaten the
Yes.
person, say, what is this you are
Yeah.
doing? You even go as far as getting the person locked up. But then with your relative, you can't, it's
Even
it's,
if you want
it's
to
somehow.
do that, the elders in the family will be like, "How
Yes,
did you do
even
that
from
to
the
your
village
blood?"
self,
Yeah.
they will say,
Yes.
how is your brother now? You push, you manage
That's
now.
right.
You manage.
That's right.
So that's one of the cons. I think that's the major
Major
con
cons.
about it. That's the major disadvantage. But then
The advantages.
the advantages kind of outweigh the disadvantages, and one of such is that because you know each other well, there's this kind of chemistry between you and that person. For example, if it's your sibling, you guys grew up together, so because you've known each other for so many years, then
They
you, in
would
fact, you
understand what you want.
good, and they'll even know how you started from the scratch and all that, so they were there with you.
They might even
of-
be part of the process.
Good, they'll be part of the process, so they'll know what you went through.
Yeah.
So that's one of it. And then secondly, that's trust too, because you both trust each other. There'll be
even
less
aside
problems.
family business, there are businesses where you're friends or you just meet business partners, and without that trust, those businesses
It
cannot
can't hold.
So aside being in business with your family, being in business with anybody has to go with, you have to have
That trust has to be there now.
yeah.
But it's even more easier if your family member is involved. It's, although there are disadvantages,
There are
like we've
cases where,
discussed, but it's even better if your family member is involved, because the person would know what you went through to get to that point. But friends now, it's not like I'm discouraging bringing in friends. You can, because there are some friends that are actually more like family to you. Like we say, our sister from another mother.
That's
and all
right.
that. People like that, people that you regard as such, you can do business with such people. But then the family, like they always say, family is everything. And so first of all, you have to consider yours first before bringing
But
in
some
any other
would
person.
argue, when you're starting a business, you avoid family until that business
Has grown.
Yes, until it has gotten to a certain level where you know you're confident it will not.
Fall, Abby.
That's right.
Okay. Some people, like, opinions vary. Opinions vary. So, for those who have that opinion, that's what they would do. That's what they will do. But for me, I still stand by my word that it's better you bring in a family member or a relative from the scratch, so that, because the person has seen all you went through to get that business up and running.
Yeah. So we're still expecting your comments. You can message us on Facebook, Twitter. Let's hear what you think about the issue. If it's your mom, I remember my mom used to sell clothes when we were much younger, and I was always changing clothes, like on a regular basis.
Okay.
It was, I would just jump in and I see a rapper I love.
That you love.
I would do my puppy dog eyes, and she would just
say, okay, you can you can have it.
So yes, at the time I wasn't even thinking of whether it was
my
going
mom.
to. Yes, it's just my mom's business. I get to get whatever I want from what she's selling. And you know, mothers have this way of not knowing how to tell you no sometimes.
Because they don't want you to cry now, so there's no way they can tell you no.
So how do you encourage? How do you advise people like me who would just selfishly go in, pick whatever we want without thinking of
your mom? If it's your mom now, it's this kind of dicey now. Okay, without being sentimental.
Yeah.
For me, okay, I can, if I'm selling something, okay, first of all, what I'll do is I'll give one to my mom. It's like a way of advertising that product. I'll be like, okay, mommy, here, use this, and then from you now, people will get to see it. When they ask, they'll be like, how did you get this? Now say, oh, my daughter, this is what she does, and all that and all that. Then next time, I won't give you, you will pay me. Next time, I won't give you.
I think that was what my mom did too, because I would always go out with the outfits, and people will see and will be like, where did you get it from? And I'm like, it's my mom. She sells clothes, and they would always come home. So yes, maybe it was her own advertising strategy, but some do not really look at it that way. Yeah, they just give out because, oh, it's family that needs it, family wants it, family must.
But then the business, you have to think about. Yes, it has to. So maybe for the first few times, maybe once or twice, you can just decide to play that nice heart, just, be good, and then subsequently, maybe what you do is, okay, you give it at a more subsidized rate to that person. Like, okay, if I'm making maybe household products now, like all this liquid soap and the rest, what I'll do is, for the first time, I'll bring out the one my family would use, let them be the one to try it, and then tell me, oh, this your soap is good, and all that and all that. And then I could give a few friends too and tell them, please help me try this product, and then I need your feedback. Then my feedback now would determine, the feedbacks I get would determine, okay, whether I should continue and all that. But for household products, once, for me, I'll give you just once, so just try it once. But the next time, you must buy. Even if you are my brother or sister, you must buy, but I'll give you at a reduced rate than what I'll sell outside. So yeah.
So do you encourage family patronizing family? Like, if I own a business?
Yes, I do. Why not? At least if you're my sister and I'm doing something, maybe I'm selling things and you buy from me, it's your own little way of contributing, supporting my
Yeah.
little business and helping me grow. So yeah, I'm an advocate of that. I am.
So, that has been the edition for today. Join us next week for another very interesting edition. My name is Latifa Opola, and
Essay Ebota saying thank you very much, and we hope you enjoyed today's discussion. So
see you next week.
see you next week.